Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Fay Coutley and I am reading for the Bad Mouth reading series. Thanks very much, Rebecca, for having me. And if you're watching, thanks very much for being here. I am going to read a handful of poems. And I thought I would start with some new work. Because even if my poetry can't be uplifting, at least it can be relevant, hopefully. And I say that mostly because I think sometimes I feel bad that I don't have uplifting poems to read during what is clearly a very difficult time for everyone. And then I remind myself that the poems that often have saved me the most have also been those that I've been able to grieve with. So not necessarily the uplifting poems, but in any case, I wanted to begin with a couple of new pieces. The first one actually is so new, I am currently rethinking reading it, but I'll be brave and just do it. It's that new where it's sort of, I am sort of still not sure. I'm not sure about it. I'll just say that. But it's a poem for this particular time. So, sheltering in place, despite viral memes, hasn't actually meant giraffes or deer are reclaiming city streets. But the oldest tiger at the Bronx Zoo is infected now, and Earth is quaking too frequently, it seems. Though wasn't she always speaking clearly at a table full of men who couldn't hear her over them? Listen, there is not a single living witness here who understands her entire violent existence. It happens this way. You wake at 4:53 a.m. to learn that your father, like your mother, died in a strange bathroom, and you're 40, living alone, discovering your dead parents took the earliest version of you with them. No breathing being remembers you little now. You begin to envy people who believe in God as their witness. Even if he mumbles so low, it doesn't matter if you turn the music down. I'd like to trust we will see our hands new now and hold each other less like poison berries. But I have walked my dog down the same block, past a house that sat empty so long, it was all but mine. And when some couple wedged a love seat through the narrow door, I eyed them as I would any threat. Maybe we each spend too much time in the room of ourselves that likes pain, repeating, once this is over, wearing our makeshift masks, waiting for our faces to grow into them. The second poem is also new-ish. It is also a part of the third collection that I'm working on at present. So I don't think there's anything that I need to say about this. Letter to the Aftermath. There was a time before this screen, though our bodies only remember it, like a room with a wall where once there were portholes, light no longer falling over some lover's slouched shoulders in the tub. I made a garden, and still I wasn't happy. 66 sunflowers, and the only screaming I heard was mine. A hole so deep, a detonation waiting. The morning I felt most lost from myself, I could no longer hear my plants in bloom. I erased my someday list. Clouds were just clouds. I tried to remind myself, crows won't eat their dead. Instead, they gather around a body in silence or ruckus. Whether you believe they grieve there, sometimes moments, sometimes days, or you believe they gather data to avoid their own demise, says everything your family needs to know about you. I believe Earth is the one last mammoth to flower, who decided one chance to weapon her beauty was simply not enough. She'd bloom 9. What if that is the only story we have to tell you? The voice of our planet so quiet inside us, we could never see her breathing from space, is a heart beating, and it was always going to be too late. So I'll turn to Tether, which is brand new, really. It's 2 months old tomorrow, I guess, and out with Black Lawrence Press. The book started during my PhD program, and at that time I was writing a lot of poems that took place in the sky, thinking about the clouds, researching these kinds of things, and in doing so read the Apollo astronauts' transcripts wherein they said that, of course, they thought going to the moon was the important part of their mission until they saw Earth in space and had this whole new perspective on home. And I really wanted to know how a person, a writer, a poet, might gain that sort of distance from the self in order to get some perspective on the self. So I tried to create distance in a bunch of different ways, and one of them was to develop a dialogue between an astronaut and an earthbound speaker, just, obviously to get different perspectives. And so they talk back and forth throughout the collection, and this is the first response from the astronaut to the earthbound speaker. Astronaut, on Rilke and Jesus. It's fair to say we've stretched our strengths between the two great opposing poles, and God is learning wonder and suffering in the space between us. Why should I be alarmed to know not one stone will be left, that all will be thrown down, which is always already straight from where I am, looking back or looking forward toward our glass dark home with no answers? I've become one pole, and you another, and in silence, emptiness, in loneliness, belonging. Coasting away is the way to still the fragile gathering rivers of light. Gold you can see nowhere but burning. Life, collecting like mold where it grows most easily. I fall more in love every day. So all of you probably are aware that we create this kind of distance inside of ourselves all the time. Mostly we just don't do it in healthy ways. So in the process of writing the book, of course, I explored several of those ways that we create that kind of distance from ourselves. And it's, we do it simply, even just, social media, but sometimes we do it with greater effect and to greater detriment. Addiction, infidelity, ways of creating not just distance from ourselves, but from each other, obviously. This is one of those. Shelter, Michigan. Ben says it's like any other house, except 12 men share 2 rooms in simple bunks, not unlike barracks. And every morning he must trudge the gauntlet of friendly, extended booze bottles, bagged and begging him not to focus on the fall leaves, last gasping in mass on the walk to the gas station, where he'll relieve himself and scrub his teeth with bald paper toweling until his gums bleed, or half the happy birthday song. He wants me to circle yes or no because his life has become unsafe. And what he needs most is an ankle break woman who will open the fridge now and again so he can see the light still exists inside them both. I won't tell him, yesterday I lost a patch of hair on the top of my scalp, but refuse to name it until I know if it's not alone. Cryptic crop circle, solar system in bald. He wants me to believe he met Jesus in Memphis after his car went dead and he forgot and forgot and forgot to feed his dog. He has provided temporary refuge from rain and rape, he says. But why shouldn't we be each other's cover? Why not disguise the facts, adopt new identities, have each other's backs? He promises to aim his gun at anyone who tries to harm a hair on my pretty little head. He can pet name me, Baby Great Lakes, Tiny Idea Cluster, Little Target Practice. I'm going to read just one more poem. Thanks very much for being here with me, if you're still here with me. And this poem is actually the oldest poem in this collection, and it first appeared in my chapbook with Black Lawrence Press in the Carnival of Breathing. It appeared in a different version, but this felt relevant for the time. Thanks again. Lake prediction. We know California will take it the hardest. Losing palm trees is never easy. No one will speak of the redwoods. As a community, we'll fold and unfold our sweaters, pack night bags with the last of our peaches. We'll wait. We'll breathe, but think of it only when smoking. Eventually, the telephone poles won't hold, and we'll call a desert again. No one will bless the faucets or pray for hailstones to have like human eyes, so the baptism by thistle will go unnoticed. It will be easier that way, to say no one was watching. Nalgene bottles will go fast, and flasks even faster. By night, some will rediscover their hunger for another hunt, so others will become prey, evading brandings, shackles, open roads. We'll trellis mountains in groups, using fish bones for cairns, and when dirt storms over us a second time, we'll hope for locusts. A woman will claim she's seen trumpet vine covered with golden husks in North Dakota. We'll wait. No one will bless her pocket. No one will pray for a stranger's empty shell. Thanks very much. Stay safe, everybody, and be kind to each other. Again, as we all know, it's a very strange and very difficult time, and I hope that you can be as easy with yourselves and with each other as humanly possible. Thanks again. Take care.